You ready? Okay, and good evening. Welcome to the City of Groton Mayor and Council meeting for Tuesday, September 3rd. We are in a hybrid meeting. We have councilors on Zoom and we have councilors in the council chambers. So with that, roll call.
Mayor Hedrick, Councilor Sheffield, Councilor Norris, Councilor Piazza, and Deputy Mayor Depot are present via Zoom.
Okay. Please stand and salute the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, recognitions, awards, and memorials. Council? Okay. I want to wish Deputy Mayor Depot a happy birthday today, and that's all I have. Okay. Receipt of citizens' petitions. Receipt of citizens' petitions is a portion of the council meeting where the council welcomes comments from citizens. To address the council, please sign a sheet at the table in front of the meeting room. When you're recognized, please approach the podium. Clearly state your name and address. Each presentation should be limited to 5 minutes or less, and citizens should, if possible, submit emailed or written comments. Presentations should be related to matters pertinent to the City of Groton. City councilors will only ask questions in order to clarify the speaker's presentation and can respond during the response to citizens' petition portion of the meeting. Is there anyone signed up?
Yes, there is. Mr. Price?
Okay.
Hi, it's Kevin Price, 105 Chestnut Hill Road. I'm also the Vice President of the International Association of the Firefighters, Local 1964 here in the city. And I've come to you tonight to speak to you on behalf of our membership in opposition to Resolution R-24-9-134. It's our view that the resolution that's in response to Connecticut Public Act 2416 is both unnecessary and will only serve to weaken and water down the act. After consulting with other union leaders from across the state, I can tell you that this is the prevailing consensus. The act as amended was passed in the hopes of expediting the process of securing federal benefits for the families of police, fire, and EMS workers who tragically lose their lives in the line of duty. Federal benefits, not local benefits, which is why the act includes language specifying that a declaration of a line of duty death by the chief shall not be used as evidence in a workers' compensation claim. Furthermore, when actuaries review the city's pension program to recommend cost shares and calculate its funding percentages, they account for an assumed number of both service-connected and non-service-connected claims. As a result, this act has no financial impact whatsoever. The intent was to ease the burden on families during a time of profound loss. With all due respect to the other department heads and city leadership mentioned in this resolution, we believe that decisions regarding potential line of duty death declarations would best be made by those with the direct knowledge and expertise in their respective fields, the fire chief and the police chief. And while we acknowledge that consultation and conversations would likely occur, we're also concerned that passing this resolution could possibly introduce the risk of making this a political decision. And although it's not a concern with the current administration, some of us remember a time in the not too distant past when it could have been. And we must work to protect the interests of our firefighters and police officers and their families as we move forward. In closing, while we all hope to never face a situation where this becomes an issue in the city, we firmly believe that this resolution adds an unnecessary layer of bureaucracy. It removes the ability to make a decision to declare a line of duty death from the experts and places it in the hands of a committee that do not share the same expertise. This would undoubtedly make an already difficult and heart-wrenching process even more burdensome for the families that are left behind. Such an outcome would be in direct contradiction to the intent and, more importantly, in direct opposition to the spirit of Act 2416, and I respectfully ask that you reconsider the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, response to citizen petitions, comments? Council? Deputy Mayor Depot?
I just want to comment that it's going to come up later tonight when we read the ordinance. I'm going to make comments then. So I don't want Mr. Price to think that I don't have comments in response to his petition, but I have some comments to make when we read the ordinance.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Councilor Sheffield?
Yes, I had concerns clearly from that meeting in regarding how the union would feel about such an action like this, and I certainly agree with your assessment, and I think it needs more consideration in as far as how we should proceed. I probably would recommend maybe we should table this for another meeting until we have a more thought process as far as assessing. I think feelings again for the unions, and whether this is something that is needed here, in this case. And I know the state has had it for the act that the state passed this, but it's something that I don't agree that we should have here for the city anyway. So that's my feeling right now.
Okay, thank you. Any other councilors? Okay, moving on to approval of minutes. I'll take a motion to move the mayor and council meeting minutes of August 5th, 2024.
I'm sorry, Mayor, motion to approve, please. Not a motion to move. You said approve or move?
What did I say?
I thought you said move. I'm sorry.
Okay, motion, well, no, we're under approval of minutes, so I need a motion to, whoops, I thought that was already done. Need a motion to approve the mayor and council meeting minutes of August 5th, 2024.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Okay, I need a motion to approve the committee of the whole meeting minutes for August 12th, 2024.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Okay, I need a motion's approved. Need a motion to approve the special mayor and council meeting minutes of August 12th, 2024.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion, abstain, opposed, abstain, motion carries. All right, communications and reports, including council standing committee updates. Where are we? Councilor Sheffield?
Nothing to report, and nothing to report on the finance committee.
Okay. Councilor Piazza?
Since I've been absent from them, so I just go back to, been going to the concerts in the park, also attended City Day, helped with the cooking and so forth, and then I also attended the celebration of life of Sarah Cheney, August 3rd, who was a significant asset to NAACP and also the Gemma Moran Food Bank, and she also worked with my mother at EB, and a strong force there, especially with the unions. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Norris?
Nothing to report, Your Honor.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Depot?
I attended the employee barbecue, which was, I want to thank the HR department and the events committee for running that. There was better attendance this year than there was last year.
Agenda item at the Board of Ed meeting in 2000 and subsequently approved by the Board of Ed.
Okay, Councilor Norris, could you mute your microphone?
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
So I attended the employee barbecue. It was really well attended. It's really nice to kind of get a mix of all the different departments and hang out with the employees that you don't get to see all the time. And it was really well attended, so I just want to thank the events committee and the HR department for running that. I really love that event every year, and I think it's important to recognize all the employees that work really hard all year. On my committee, we've had some technical difficulties for public safety in terms of getting the survey out. I have to work with IT to get that fixed so that we can get that survey for parking, which has been delayed since the last report I gave, but we intend to fix that before next month's meeting,
Okay,
and that's all.
okay. Clerk Bakura?
Nothing.
Okay, just a reminder, on September 7th, this Saturday, we have the 4th Annual Groton City Brew Run. Just wanted to let everybody know about that. All right, we'll move on to committee referrals. Are there any committee referrals? Seeing none, we'll move on. New business, Resolution R-24-8-123. Councilor Sheffield.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution R-24-8-123. Therefore, be it resolved, the mayor and council accept a donation from Connecticut Fair Plan, 302 Central Avenue, Johnson, Rhode Island, for the City of Groton Fire Department in the amount of $500.00 to be used to buy camera equipment for the fire marshal's office. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We discussed this during the committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Councilor Piazza.
Thank you, Mary. Resolution -24-8-124. Therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council authorize and approve a contract with Northeastern Tree Service Incorporated, Cranston, Rhode Island, for tree maintenance in Washington Park for the quoted amount of $12,450.00, with an additional alternative hourly cost for trimming $440.00 per 4-hour increments, and a contingency fund not to exceed a total project amount of $15,000.00 to be paid from capital improvement funds. I so move.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed during the committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Councilor Norris?
Therefore be resolved, R-24-8-125. Therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council approve the appointment of Macon Bishop of 128 Meriden Street, Unit 201, Groton, Connecticut, as a regular member, Youth Advisory Committee, term to expire on March 7th, 2026. I so move.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. This was discussed during the committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. We are going to move over R-24-8-126. I'll move that to the next mayor and council meeting. And so R-24-8-127, Deputy Mayor Depot.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution R-24-8-127. Therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council authorize and approve the city of Groton to purchase 36 9mm weapons from Amchar Wholesale, Inc., 100 Air Park Drive, Rochester, New York, for a total cost of $17,004.24, with an estimated $8,000.00 to be paid by a trade-in credit, and the remaining balance to be paid from asset forfeiture funds. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed at a committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Councilor Sheffield.
Resolution R-24-8-128. Therefore, be it resolved, the mayor and council authorize and approve the city of Groton to purchase 36 9mm weapons sights from Euro Optic Limited Ltd., 1203 Lycoming Mall Circle, Muncie, Pennsylvania, for a total cost of $11,535.19 to be paid from asset forfeiture funds. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This is discussed at the committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Counselor Piazza.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution R-24-9-129. Therefore be resolved that the mayor and council approve the appointment of Margaret Robertson, 90 Cottage Street, Groton, Connecticut, as a regular member of the Board of Ethics, term to expire on February 1st, 2025. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed during the committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Counselor Norris.
R-24-9-130, therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council approve the refund of property taxes to Fuel Cell and Energy, CO Prop Tax Department, 3 Great Pasture Road, Danbury, Connecticut, in the amount of $383,469.87. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed during the committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Okay, motion carries unanimously. Deputy Mayor Depot.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution R-24-9-131. Therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council authorize Groton Utilities Management to issue a purchase order to Alltech Industries, Inc., 210 Iverness Center Drive, Birmingham, Alabama, for an amount not to exceed $465,475.50, including a 5% contingency for the purchase of 2 2026 Dodge Ram 500 regular cab and chassis vehicles equipped with Alltech model AT40G telescoping articulating aerial devices with ISO boom to be paid from fiscal year 25 non-bonded capital. ISO boom.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed during the committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. So the motion is moved. Counselor Sheffield.
Resolution R-24-9-132. Therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council waive the bid process and authorize a purchase order to TriTech Software Systems, a Central Square Company, 1000 Business Center Drive, Lake Mary, Florida, 32746, for Information Management Corporation software support in the amount of $10,322.13 to be paid by the fiscal year 25 Police Department operating funds. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed during the committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. Counselor Piazza.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution R-24-9-133. Therefore be resolved that the mayor and council authorize and approve the purchase, authorize and approve the purchase of 2 2024 Dodge Durango Pursuit SUV from Gangres Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 430 Tungus Road, Fairfield, Connecticut, for a total cost of $114,310.00 to be paid from capital reserve funds. I so move. Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed during the committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. Okay, Counselor Norris.
R-24-9-134. Therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council initially approve An ordinance authorizing the mayor to respectfully declare that a police officer, uniform paid firefighter, or volunteer firefighter, or EMS personnel died in the line of duty if the death was caused by a cardiac event, stroke, or pulmonary embolism within 24 hours after the individual finished a shift or training. I so move.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. This is discussed at the committee of the whole. Deputy Mayor Depot, you have the floor.
So, as I voiced in the last meeting, I'm never happy to be up against a timeline for voting for things. However, I think it's important to note that the council has the ability to initiate a motion at a meeting that can make this ordinance null and void. Because we're up against a time crunch, I do believe that the best decision is to pass this motion and then have more time to ask more questions. The thing is that we don't have the time to ask enough questions to be certain of what this motion should be. So, in my opinion, the right thing to do is to vote this through to make sure that we have this ordinance in place. If we don't vote it through tonight, then we can't ever vote it through. But if we vote it through tonight, we can repeal it at any time. Any counselor has the ability to make a motion to add an agenda item. We can add this to the agenda, one, by emailing the mayor's office and asking him to add to the agenda, but also the counselors can together move to change this ordinance. So because we don't have enough time to get what I think is enough information, I do think we should vote this through and then maybe have another committee of the whole where we have additional time to ask questions to the relevant departments. But because of the timeline, because the state, unfortunately, has given us the timeline that we have to decide by October 1st, we have to have an ordinance in place, or we can never put one in place. I do think that we should vote this through, but I just want the union to know and those departments to know that it's not because I necessarily think this is absolutely the end-all be-all correct thing to do, but if we don't do it now, we can't ever do it, and I'd rather have another meeting where we have more time to ask more questions, if that makes sense.
Okay, thank you. Any other counselor? Counselor Norris?
So, I kind of want to make it clear. I believe we are not removing or reducing or limiting the voice or the authority of the police chief or the fire chief. That is further from the truth. What we're actually doing is simply allowing in this case, the city administrator or the mayor or a town manager to be the spokesperson and to make that acknowledgement. In this particular case, the mayor is still, nothing's going to change, is going to have conversations with the police chief and fire chief. Nothing changes. The only thing that is changing is, and I'm going to use my words, the mayor is the one that's going to be on the podium and make the statement. He will advise the HR director as to what the police chief and the fire chief has guided the mayor in a decision that they make, and he's the person that is simply articulating the results. Nothing more, nothing less. I have heard that we can make this a political situation based on who's going to be future mayors. I would dare say we could say it could be reversed based on whoever the future fire marshal or fire chief and police chief would be. So let's take that off the table and just recognize All we're simply doing here, again, in my mind and the way I will vote to approve this, is we're just allowing the mayor to articulate decisions made based on a collaborative effort by the police chief, the fire chief, and that of the HR director. Nothing less. Thank you.
Just one thing before I recognize the next counselor. I had an internal meeting with the two chiefs, HR, let's see, finance, and were you there for that meeting?
The two admins.
Okay, the clerk was there, and also the executive admin was there, and we were talking about how to revise this, and I sent it to the chiefs in Word document, and we have 2 weeks in order for them to massage and give me some additional information, text on how we're gonna, what our process will be on this. And if you notice in this, I removed the attorney and removed the medical person because that seemed to cause some angst initially, and we will determine if that needs to be in the process or not. And then I will bring that back to the council for discussion, deliberation, debate, and then moving forward. So I just wanted to let you know that that happened last week as promised. Councilor Piazza, you're a first-time speaker.
Thank you, Mayor. So I wasn't here for the workings of this, and I guess maybe, I'm not sure if I need a briefing on this. This is something that's being changed from what we have, or could I just get a short summary of this?
This general statute was passed and was under everybody's radar screen, and no one knew anything about it until let's see, Thursday before the last committee of the whole, and then I received an email from CCM and letting me know that if we do not have an ordinance in place by 1 October, then by default, the cause of death determination goes to the police chief and the fire chief respectively. I then got my internal staff, we put an ordinance together, we talked about it at the committee of the whole. Councilors expressed their concern, Chief Tompkins and Chief Burton both spoke, and they expressed their concerns. My agreement was that, and if you notice, there is it's got to be reviewed within 6 months of its initial passage. That way, we don't let it languish. We actually are taking action on it. And I did have my first meeting last week with internal staff. So when we've reached out to CCM and I reached out to my attorneys, and when both chiefs reached out to their associations, this was under the radar. This was not being a flag waved to everybody to draw attention to it. So you guys knew about it as soon as I knew about it. So that's the background on it. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. So from my understanding that the chiefs were in agreement, there's some concern because when the other gentleman spoke for citizens petition, I couldn't quite hear everything. So is there concerns about it?
So Chief Burton understands it. He's okay with it. Chief Tompkins is not in favor of the ordinance. Only because, yes, he wants to be the person that makes the call. Now, ultimately, in the end, he and I, so I will have we're still working on how we're going to do this, but in my mind right now, we will have a committee. He will have a strong voice on that because he does run the fire department and understands the rigors in which the fire department deal with. But the final call, when I brief the council and everyone else, that will come from me.
Okay, thank you. So my other question is, who determines the 24 hours after the finish of a shift? Who made that determination? of 24
That is in the Connecticut general statute.
Okay, and that's not something that could be changed or that would have to go up?
So basically, if somebody dies on shift, there's no question about that. If they die within 24 hours after the shift of either pulmonary embolism, cardiac arrest, or stroke, then that's when this comes into play. So obviously, the medical examiner will have, go ahead, please, you have the floor.
I was just gonna say, understanding that, how it came to these specific, diagnoses or cause of death, and being a medical person, to me, 24 hours isn't enough. If I was to vote on it, I would say 72 hours, because various, things that can happen within 24 hours is just not enough. Anything can happen longer, especially the type of duty that these, personnel do is constantly stressed, and then leans over into these diagnoses, but also to maybe in a situation of fire or exposure to some hazmat in some way, or even just extensive stress and trauma. 24 hours to me is not enough. I think like if it was pushed to 72 hours would be great to still say it was caused in line of duty. That's my opinion.
I understand, but we don't have that authority. This came from the Connecticut general statutes.
That's why I asked ahead of time, but that would be my opinion, and that if I was on the board of that, I would definitely push it for 72 hours. That's
Okay.
just a statement to make in the meeting. If I had been up in Hartford, that's something I would strongly bring military soldiers that work medically and also out in the field in the civilian world. I would definitely bring some kind of statistics to that to raise, to push that to 72 hours. And that's just my opinion,
Okay,
medically and personally.
I understand. Anything else? Councilor Piazza, anything else?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm all
Okay,
set, thank you.
all right, thank you. Councilor Sheffield, you're a first-time speaker?
Yeah, again, I think we should table this to where we can get these revisions that you had discussed that we could possibly implement to change it up a little bit before we make a final decision on this tonight. So I think we need,
But we can't table this.
Well,
If
I
you
mean,
table this,
well,
this is going to
okay.
go beyond 1 October, and we're going to miss the window. If council decides to approve this,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm hoping that they will, then we have time then, once it's approved, then we have time to massage it, manipulate it, change it, whatever words people want to use. And I am meeting internally with my staff to come up with a process that they're comfortable with, to continue to bring it to the council. And that's why, I'm asking for council's approval tonight, because if we don't get approval, then it's done. Because we have, according to the Connecticut general statute, it has to be in place by 1 October. And that's
So-
what the CGS says.
all right, so long as, again, you give their word that this is going to be revisions after we vote on this, then I won't have a problem. But
They are actively involved in helping me revise this ordinance into an ordinance that can be used and be accepted by them.
Okay.
Deputy Mayor Depot, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. Can you confirm, so this is the first reading, ordinances have to be read multiple times, right? So this is just the first reading. So if between now and the time that we do the next reading, the council decides we don't like this ordinance, we can vote against it next time it comes up, correct?
That is correct.
And when is that scheduled for?
That's scheduled for the 30th of September. It will be a special meeting. That's the day we said, right? The 30th of September, that's the 5th Monday. It will be a special meeting, and I'll be talking to the council between now and then about the importance of making that meeting so that we have a quorum and can have that meeting. And then we can discuss it again.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page, because, so if we don't vote we have zero options to ever vote it through. But if we vote it through tonight, we can just vote it down September 30th, and it never goes into effect anyways.
That's correct.
So voting it through tonight gives us 27 extra days to get information and make a more informed decision.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Councilor Piazza, you have your hand raised? You're muted. Okay. Any other questions or comments from the council? We have a motion and a second, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then I will ask for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay? It passes unanimously. So this we'll get the first reading, we'll get it into the newspaper so that it's advertised. We may get additional comment from the public, and then my intent is to bring it to the council for a second reading on the 30th of September, and we'll see where it goes from there. Okay? With that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, we are adjourned. Council, thank you for being here. For those of you on Zoom, thanks for coming out.
Recording stopped.